The WNBA is burning from the inside, and tonight we finally know why. What began as a quiet meeting on the commissioner's calendar has exploded into one of the most dangerous standoffs in league history. Nafisa Collier, the MVP runner-up, the heart of Minnesota's locker room, and vice president of the Players Association, just did the unthinkable. She canceled her meeting with Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. No delay, no reschedule, just gone. And in that single decision, the entire foundation of women's basketball began to shake like never before. This wasn't just a canceled meeting. It was a declaration of war. A player who spent her career leading by example, standing up for fairness and professionalism, had now turned her back on the very system she helped hold together. Fans couldn't believe it. Social media lit up within minutes. Fees done. The league's done. It's over. That was a reaction, because this meeting was supposed to fix everything: officiating, player safety, and the league's public image. Instead, it exposed just how broken the WNBA's leadership truly is. The reason? A live TV moment that went catastrophically wrong. Before Game 1 of the WNBA Finals, Engelbert decided to address what she called false reports. She looked directly into cameras and publicly denied ever making certain comments about players, specifically that infamous remark suggesting Caitlin Clark should be grateful for her off-court earnings. But those words weren't rumors, they were receipts. Nafisa had shared them publicly weeks earlier. And when Engelbert denied it, she wasn't correcting the record. She was calling one of her own stars a liar. Imagine that. The commissioner of the league, on national television, essentially saying one of her biggest players fabricated an entire story. The air went out of the room. You could feel the tension through the broadcast. The finals hadn't even tipped off, and already the league was imploding under its own spotlight. What was meant to be a celebration of the game turned into a public humiliation for the players who built it. And at the center of it all stood Engelbert, smiling tightly, speaking corporate poetry while everything around her burned. For Nafisa Collier, it wasn't just disrespect, it was betrayal. She had sat across from Engelbert months earlier, speaking calmly and honestly about the struggles players face: bad officiating, low pay, endless travel, and a constant sense of being ignored. She put her name and career on the line to push for change. And this was a reward, a public denial, a subtle way of saying, you don't matter. To Collier, that was a last straw. She wasn't going to play nice anymore. And in that moment, the players' movement crossed a point of no return. The backlash was instant. Players across the league rallied behind her. Sophie Cunningham fired off a blistering post within hours. Brianna Stewart started liking tweets calling Engelbert's comments tone-deaf. Even Caitlin Clark, who almost never wades into controversy, spoke out, saying Nafisa had valid points. That was unheard of. The league's brightest star siding with a player the commissioner had just discredited. It was a kind of moment that shifts power forever. For the first time, Engelbert wasn't facing critics. She was facing an army, and that army wasn't whispering. They were roaring. Players began posting cryptic messages about change and respect. Fans flooded the WNBA's social accounts, demanding Engelbert's resignation. You could feel it, momentum building like a storm. Inside the league offices, phones were ringing nonstop. Sponsors were asking questions. PR staff were in panic mode. And when ESPN reported that the relationship between Collier and Engelbert was beyond repair, it was like hearing thunder before the downpour. Beyond repair. 2 words that sent shockwaves through every front office in the league. Because if Collier was done, that meant the Players Association was done. She's the vice president, the bridge between players and management. Without her, there's no dialogue, no trust, no progress. And with a collective bargaining agreement expiring in weeks, that silence could turn catastrophic. Insiders began whispering the unthinkable. If the standoff continues, there might not even be a 2026 WNBA season. The numbers don't lie. No trust means no talks. No talks mean no deal. And no deal means no league. That's how close this meltdown has come to total collapse. It's like watching a Jenga tower sway while everyone holds their breath. Every day without communication pushes the WNBA closer to a lockout. Players could be barred from training. TV contract could freeze. Sponsors could pull out overnight. And all of it Every inch of progress made since Caitlin Clark's arrival could vanish because one executive couldn't swallow her pride. Just weeks ago, the WNBA was riding the highest ratings it had ever seen. Caitlin Clark's rookie season had turned arenas into sold-out spectacles. The momentum was real, tangible, electric. Then suddenly, one bad press conference and one public insult sent the league spiraling from breakthrough to breakdown. Commentators called it a masterclass in mismanagement. Because Kathy Engelbert didn't just lose control of the narrative, she lost control of her players, her credibility, and possibly her job. That's where Adam Silver enters the story. The NBA Commissioner, the man who oversees the WNBA at the highest level, is reportedly furious. Sources close to the situation say he's deeply concerned about Engelbert's handling of the crisis. Some insiders even claim he's considering stepping in himself, possibly removing her to stabilize the league. Think about that. The NBA Commissioner having to rescue the WNBA from its own leader. It's not just embarrassing, it's historic. A moment that could redefine who truly runs women's basketball. Behind the scenes, players know exactly what this means. They've seen Engelbert dodge accountability before. When they asked for charter flights, she said, "We're looking into it." When they demanded fair officiating, she promised better training. Every answer was a corporate deflection. But this time, it's different. This isn't about PR, it's about survival. Nafisa Collier's cancellation wasn't a tantrum. It was strategy, a message to the league that players aren't begging anymore. They are done waiting for empty promises. While chaos consumes the WNBA, another league is quietly waiting in the shadows. Unrivaled, the off-season league built by Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart is no longer just a side project. It's a lifeboat. If the WNBA collapses during a lockout, Unrivaled is ready to step in. Sponsors, facilities, cameras, everything is in place. The league could launch tomorrow. And that's what terrifies Engelbert the most. Because if players realize they don't need her league to thrive, her entire empire collapses overnight. That's a plot twist no one saw coming. Nafisa doesn't lose, no matter what happens. If the WNBA rebuilds, she wins as a player. If it implodes, she wins as an owner. She's playing chess while Engelbert is still flipping through a corporate binder. And fans are starting to notice. Every day, more voices online are saying the quiet part out loud. Maybe the players should run their own league. That sentence alone should send chills down every executive corridor from New York to Las Vegas. And then there's Caitlin Clark, the unwilling centerpiece of it all. She didn't pick this fight, but somehow her name is everywhere. Every headline, every negotiation, every controversy. Engelbert's alleged comment about her being grateful lit the fuse that started this entire fire. And now Caitlin's silence speaks volumes. She's not defending Engelbert. She's not condemning Nafisa. She's just watching, because she knows one wrong word could make her either the villain or the savior of the entire WNBA. That's how fragile this moment is. One press release, one tweet, or one quote could shift the balance of power completely. The league is teetering on the edge of a total player revolt, and fans are choosing sides. Some blame Engelbert for corporate arrogance. Others say the players have gone too far. But deep down, everyone knows the truth. This isn't about one disagreement. It's about years of tension finally exploding into the open. The players are tired of being silenced, and Engelbert just handed them the microphone. Her leadership has become a punchline. Critics describe her as a PowerPoint commissioner, someone who treats basketball like a quarterly earnings report. And the players see it, too. They are not corporate assets. They're athletes fighting for respect. When they call out officiating issues, they are not whining. They are begging for fairness. When they talk about travel fatigue, they are not being dramatic. They are trying to survive. But Engelbert's inability to listen has turned minor problems into full-blown revolts. Now she's running out of allies. Even ownership groups are getting nervous. They see what's happening to ticket sales, to fan trust, to the league's image. They know that every minute Engelbert stays in power is another dent in the brand. Rumors say several owners have already reached out to Adam Silver privately, asking for her removal. And if he decides to act, it won't just be to protect players. It'll be to protect the league's survival. Meanwhile, fans can't look away. This isn't basketball news anymore. It's drama on a scale no one expected. The finals were supposed to be about rivalries, championships, and history. Instead, they became a reality show about leadership failure. And the worst part is, the players warned everyone. They've been sounding the alarm for months, begging for reform. But no one in charge listened until it was too late. Now, the only question left is what happens next. Does the WNBA rebuild from the ashes, or does it burn itself to the ground?